Now, before I get into the top 10 tips on how to increase your testosterone, I want to talk about the fact that right now we have a testosterone crisis. Men's testosterone and sperm count are the lowest that they have ever been, and more men are becoming infertile. And if we go on like this, we might see some huge drops in the population numbers. Like, I'm not joking. This is some pretty serious stuff. One of the main researchers in this field, Dr. Shanna Swan, they did a study and they found that men's testosterone and sperm count are dropping by 1% every year. And they also found that over the last 50 years, it has dropped by 59%. Let me repeat that. Men's testosterone and sperm count has decreased by 59% over the last 50 years. So this means that your grandpa probably had double the testosterone that you have right now. Like, just think about how crazy these numbers are. That over the last 50 years, it has been cut in half. I mean, this is not normal. Over this short period of time, this is completely absurd. This is a huge decrease. And there's more. They did another study 5 years later, I think it was in 2017, where they found that after the year 2000, men's testosterone and sperm count has been dropping by 2.6% every single year. Just think about how crazy that is. Now it's going down even faster than before. So over the next 25-50 years, it will probably be halved again. And then halved again after the next 25-50 years. This is what I'm talking about. This is huge. I mean, if it goes on like this, and of course, if sperm count and testosterone is going down, infertility rates are going up. And if this goes on like this, there will be a point in the future where most men won't be able to have children. It's not even about that they don't want to have children. They won't be able to. This is why I think that it's so important to research about this and talk about this, especially if you want to have children or you want to have grandkids. Because there's actually a good possibility that because of this, most of your grandkids probably won't be able to have children. So if you're thinking about having a family in the future, I highly recommend you to do some research and start today. Take action, because there is the possibility that you might not be able to have children. It's not out of the question. It is possible, especially looking at these stats. And even if you can have children, don't you want healthy children? Children who are like, their hormones are not messed up and their dicks are not mutated from all of this bullshit in our environment. It is that serious. I mean, I will tell you a story about an experiment that they did on fish. They put the same chemicals that we are put out to. And like, they mutated, and man, like, some male fish started looking like females, and it's a crazy experiment. I will talk about it at the end of the video, but this is pretty serious. I mean, this is pretty crazy. Now let's talk about what's behind this huge decrease in testosterone and sperm count. What's causing all of this? Well, there are two main things. First, there's something called endocrine disruptors and our lifestyle. First, endocrine disruptors, they are basically chemicals that mess up our health and mess up our hormones, especially our testosterone and our estrogen. And they are everywhere. They are everywhere around us. And you're probably touching one right now. And they're also called like estrogenic stuffs, endocrine disruptors. I think they are basically the same thing that they're talking about. Now here are some of these chemicals that I want to mention, some of these endocrine disruptors. First is something called BPA, bisphenol A, which is mostly found in plastic and in paper receipts. Like, even the receipts that you get when you buy something, even that's messing up your health. Another one is called something called phthalates or phthalates. I'll put it up here on the screen. This is also found in plastic water bottles, everything plastic, and in personal care products like these cosmetic products, deodorant, shampoo, makeup, fragrances. That's also messing up your health. Another one is called something called perfluorinated chemicals, PFCs. This is like basically, you know, those non-stick pans. The stuff that you put in the pan won't stick to it and you won't have to scrape it off. Well, no shit, that's bad for your health. I mean, just think about it. What did they have to put on those pans to make it non-stick? What kind of messed up chemicals? And then you're putting your meat on, not your meat, but then you're putting meat on it and like frying, like cooking it on that. And then you're eating this weird chemicals from that. It's getting into your food. No shit, that bad for your health. And it's also found in some of these like water resistant fabrics and some food packagings. A bunch of bullshit. Another one is pesticides. The shit that they put on your vegetables and food that will kill little insects and bacteria on it. And of course, if you eat that, that's bad for your health. Like, imagine eating that shit that kills these little insects and bacteria. Like, that's a bunch of bullshit chemicals that you're putting into your body. And you're washing it with, and even if you wash it with tap water, your tap water is also contaminated. And we'll talk about it later. Another one is something called triclosan or parabens. It's found in some soaps, toothpaste, and these personal care products, these cosmetics. So even your toothpaste is messed up. And as you can see, they are everywhere. Plastic is everywhere around us. Every day we're using this spray-on deodorant. Like I remember in like PE class, like everyone used those, and you went in and that smell just like slapped you. That like deodorant mixed with sweat. So just imagine all the weird chemicals in the air, and we were just like smelling that shit up. It's everywhere around you. So of course, one of the things in the actionable steps section of this video is going to be to avoid these things. Now let's talk about the other major thing that's behind this huge crisis, which is our lifestyle. And one of the main things in our lifestyle that's messing up our health, of course, is our diet. I mean, you probably know that today's food is just shit. The stuff that we have in groceries or on shelves are just shit wrapped in plastic, full with sugar. Like, they are just made to look good, but they don't have like any like good like nutrition in them. They're awful. And also, being overweight and underweight will decrease your testosterone, but we'll talk more about this in the actionable steps section. Another one is sleep, of course. If you don't get enough sleep, I mean, you already know just how important sleep is. Another one, alcohol, drinking alcohol. I mean, really, there's no point to it. I mean, I used to like drinking alcohol, but at this point, the more I gained knowledge about just how awful it is, like, I don't even want to right now. I mean, what's the point? It messes up everything in your life. Everything about your health. Everything will become worse if you even drink little amounts of alcohol. And it's not even that fun, to be honest. I mean, yeah, a little bit fun, but it's definitely not worth it. Like maybe once a year, twice a year. Another one is smoking, of course. Even smoking weed, even smoking like this weird, like electronic vapes or whatever. It's awful for your health. Another one is exercise, not getting enough exercise. Just get your ass off the couch and do some push-ups. Now we'll talk about this more later, but it doesn't matter what kind of supplements do you take if you don't have the basics right. Sleep, exercise, not drinking alcohol, your diet. If you don't have this checked out, then it doesn't matter what kind of supplements you take or what kind of chemicals you avoid. This is the main thing that you gotta get in order. Now let's talk about the actionable steps. What can we actually do to increase our testosterone and sperm count? Now the fastest thing that you can do right now is to take your phone out of your pocket. Andrew Huberman talked about it in his podcast that keeping your phone in your pocket will decrease your testosterone, and by quite a lot. I will leave a link in the bio to his video, but just think about it. When you put your phone in the pocket, it's like 1 or 2 centimeters away from your balls. Do you think that it's healthy to have that device that's like emitting and getting like these radio signals, radio waves, all of the time, that close to your balls? Of course that's not healthy. And there are some other people, like even I used to do this. I used to sleep with my phone right next to my head. Like it was like this close to my head when I was sleeping. Like I probably lost like a few thousand brain cells while I was sleeping like that. And how I do it, basically, I just keep my phone in my hand and that's it. I put it on the desk where I keep it in my hand, keep it in my back pocket, even that's not that great. But don't put it in your front pocket right next to your balls. The fastest thing that you can do is just promise me that from this video onwards, you will never put your phone in your front pockets ever again. This will probably make a huge difference. And also what can help is turning it on airplane mode. Like, let's say, okay, you have to put it in your pocket. Then turning it on airplane mode or just shutting your phone off, that can help also. But the best thing is to just avoid putting it in your pocket. Now the next thing to help you increase your testosterone is your diet. Don't eat shit food, I mean really, don't eat these ultra processed foods wrapped in a bunch of plastic, pumped with sugar. Just look out what you're putting into your body. I'm going to put up here on the screen a list of foods that increase and decrease your testosterone. And I highly recommend you to look at the list that decreases your testosterone and cut that shit out. Cut out sugar, cut out like seed oils, cut out soy, all of that bullshit. And I highly recommend you to watch a video, which is a great video. I watched it like a couple of months ago and it really changed how I look at my diet. It's called Fat Chance 2.0 and it's mainly about sugar. But it's such a cool video. I highly recommend you to watch it. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Also, another thing about diet. Don't be too fat and don't be too shredded. Actually, that can decrease your testosterone, being overweight and underweight, because you need some fat. You need some fat in your body, so being underweight, being like too shredded, that's also not that great. Now the other basic things are getting sleep, getting some exercise, moving your body, and the another one is getting direct sunlight on your face, on your skin, on your eyes, getting sunlight into your eyes, especially in the morning. At least 15 minutes of sunlight every single day. Like, that is very important. Andrew Huberman talked about it a lot in his podcast, the importance of it. Now, I made a whole video about this, about sleep, about diet, about exercise, about getting sunlight. So I won't be talking about much in this video. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can check it out if you want to learn more and if you want to max out these basics and to get them right. So the other thing, of course, don't drink, don't smoke. That's simple. Cut that bullshit out. Now the next thing to increase your testosterone is huge. One of the most important things. Avoid plastics. As we said in the Endocrine Disruptors section, you might remember that most of these endocrine disruptors, these chemicals, are in plastics. Basically, all plastics are bad for you. Even if you touch them, they mess up your hormones and your testosterone and everything. So try as much to avoid plastics. Plastic bottles, plastic phone cases, plastic pen, plastic chairs. It's everywhere around you. Just look around your room, it's everywhere. The shampoo bottle, it's also plastic, it's everywhere around us. Now another very important thing is to avoid plastic clothing. Avoid polyester, avoid nylon or all that bullshit clothing. You know, like this gym clothing or that football clothing that have like this interesting texture. Yeah, they are actually nice clothes. But if you want to be healthy, if you want to have like a good chance to have children, if you don't want to be infertile, then I recommend cutting those clothes out. Like, you want to be that guy that checks the labels on your clothes to see if it's like 100% cotton or if it's like denim or something like that. So cut out all the polyester, all the nylon or all that bullshit clothing. Like, basically, as far as I know, cotton is like the only one that's not estrogenic. Cotton and denim and like some organic materials. And especially look out for your underwear. You don't want your underwear to be made out of plastic and polyester, all that bullshit. Imagine your balls touching plastic throughout all of the day. That's messed up. And also, like, I'm just thinking about all the people that wear to the gym and to work out this 100% polyester clothing. Imagine like getting sweaty on those, in those things. Because the thing is that when these chemicals warm up, they become worse. So when you get sweaty and hot in those clothes, like the chemicals from them, they literally like sink into your skin. It's awful. It's awful. So avoid polyester plastic clothings. Be that kind of guy that will look at like the label and will obsess over these, so that he doesn't buy any like bullshit clothing that will mess up his health. So cut out all the bullshit polyester clothes. Another thing is to avoid food wrapped in plastic. Same things, plastic is bad. Another thing is to avoid receipts. As we said, it is full with BPA. It's very bad for you, you know, touching this plastic. So whenever you're at a restaurant or something, just don't touch the plastic. Just leave it there, or say that, oh no, I'm allergic to plastic. Just say something like that. People will believe it. And also these Unstick pants, they are also bad for you, as we talked about it. And about clothing, if it's not cotton, cut it out. And the thing that I recommend you is to start step by step. Look at the plastics around you and think about what can you replace. For example, I replaced my plastic water bottle with a metal one, and it's great. My throat is actually getting kind of sore. So just think about, I also replaced my plastic pen with a metal pen. So you can start like implementing these small little things, but just avoid plastics. Now the next thing is hot showers and saunas and hot baths and keeping your balls in hot places. When you take a hot shower, it kills 50% of your sperm. Half of it gone. It kills 50% of it. It will come back, of course, but it's bad for your testosterone. But basically the rule is, if something is bad for your sperm count, it's also bad for your testosterone. So taking hot showers, taking hot baths, saunas is bad for your testosterone. I think that you can do, if you're going for it in a sauna, is to put like a cold towel or ice below your balls. That's what I did when I went to a sauna recently. And also another thing, don't sit for too long. Because as we said, warmth, like your balls being in hot temperatures will reduce your testosterone. So sitting down too much, like your thighs will compress and like press your balls together and warm up your balls. So not sitting for long enough, and actually when you sit, like man spreading and spreading your legs out so that they get some like ventilation and they get some air. Because just think about it. Just think about it. Why are our balls outside our body? I mean, they are one of the most sensitive organs, like one of the most sensitive parts of our bodies. Why aren't they like tucked in somewhere so that they don't get damaged? It's dangling out there to keep it cool, to not be in too warm places, to have some air around it and to cool it down. That's why. Like, I actually like never thought about this until I researched this, but that's why it's like dangling out there. It needs some colder temperatures. So avoid sitting for too long, man spread, avoid hot showers and hot baths and saunas. Keep your balls in a cooler place. And now another thing that decreases your testosterone is, of course, watching porn and masturbating. Just cut it out, man. Just don't stop being that weird guy feeling that shame all the time of masturbating. Just cut it out. And an advice that I have for stopping with porn is to look at it by the month. Don't think about it in streaks. That's just bullshit. Just think about it. How many times did you masturbate this month? And the point is to reduce that number in the next month. Maybe you masturbated 30 times this month. Make sure that the next month you'll masturbate 20 times, and then 15 times, 12 times, 10 times, and reduce it like that. And another great thing is to keep yourself busy. Because it is when we are bored that we start watching porn or start masturbating. So keep yourself busy. And another thing is to take deep breaths. When you feel the urge to masturbate, start taking a couple of as deep as you can breaths. Like breathing into your lower belly, below your belly button. Like these deep breaths. And imagine like yourself circulating that energy throughout your body. For example, like when you get this urge to masturbate, just imagine like that energy is like clumping up around your head when you're fantasizing, or around your genitals when you get aroused and you get horny. Start taking some deep breaths and imagine you moving that energy around your body with your breath. This might sound weird, but trust me, this works. Start taking some deep breaths, like visualize you moving that energy throughout your body and spreading it out. Now the next thing is to avoid normal cosmetic products and these like self-care products. Things like makeup, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, fragrance, aftershave. They have, as we talked about it, these endocrine disruptor chemicals in them, and they are just bad for you. It's like spraying deodorants and aftershave and fragrance. Most of them are bad for your health. So what I recommend is to buy safe ones. That's what I actually want to do right now, is to buy some of these products that are organic, that only have like a few ingredients in them. Because the thing is that you don't even know what's in them. Like you read it, you don't understand 90% of the shit that you read right there. It's just like a bunch of weird chemicals that you're putting on your face and you're putting like right up your ass cheeks when you're like using the shampoo and everything, like right on your balls. So try getting some safe ones that you know are, or they are not estrogenic. They don't have like some endocrine disruptors chemicals in them. They're organic and stuff like that. I'll leave a link to a website that sells some of this safe stuff. It's called Peace with the Wild or something like that. But you can find also a bunch of other of these websites. Try avoiding these normal ones and finding some safer ones. Now the next thing that you can do is to don't drink tap water. Cut that shit out. That's bullshit. That's awful for your health. Of course, first, there's a bunch of weird chemicals in it. It's going through a bunch of like old, dusty, dirty pipes. And then you're putting it into your glass and drinking it. And it also just, you can taste it that it's bad for you. You can taste that it's bad for you. Cut it out. And the other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is that tap water basically has birth control hormones in it. Because when women take their birth control pills and they get it out of their system, they pee it out, and then it gets back into the water systems. But the thing is that the systems that filter that water, they don't filter it out perfectly. They don't filter out hormones. So the messed up hormones that got out of their system, you are now basically drinking them. They are going into your tap water. So basically, like going over the board, you're drinking a diluted version of birth control pills. And imagine your wife drinking that while she's pregnant. Diluted version of birth control pills that makes women not get pregnant. Yeah, that's how crazy it is. So avoid drinking from tap water. Either get a filter, some kind of water filter. I'm not sure yet which one are the good ones. You can do some research about this. Or getting your water from glass water bottles, not these plastic water bottles. These are basically like the two things that you can do, or getting like a well and getting your water directly from the ground. That's another thing that you could do. But avoid drinking tap water. Now these were basically the things that I found to live a more healthier life, to increase your testosterone, to increase your chances of having a beautiful family, having beautiful children, healthy children, not these weird, infertile, dick-mutated children. And now I want to talk about that fish experiment that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Basically, there was an experiment where scientists exposed a certain kind of fish to the chemical called BPA, which we talked about, which is an endocrine disruptor found in basically all of plastics almost. So this weird chemical that is found in plastics and we're touching every single day, they put that shit in the fish's water. And they wanted to see what will happen to future generations. And it was crazy. The first generation got infected, or or put out to this chemical, and their fertility rate went down by a lot. Like a bunch of fish were not able to have children. But the other interesting thing is that the future generation, they also had infertility problems. But the thing is that they were not exposed to BPA. Only the first generation was exposed to BPA. But the generation afterwards, they also had problems just because the first generation was exposed. They had like these weird mutations where male fish started looking like female fish and their dicks were like mutated, all that weird stuff, and they had weird problems with infertility, and a bunch of their embryos died before they were able to hatch. And that's almost what you're seeing in humans also. A bunch of miscarriages. Infertility rates are going up. Testosterone is going down. Sperm count, sperm quality is going down. And the problem is with us that it's not only our parents that were put out to this bullshit. We are also put out to all these bullshit chemicals, and we're eating a bunch of bullshit, not moving, not sleeping enough, drinking alcohol, smoking, living a shit life, most people. And as we said, in the fish's case, only the first generation was exposed to BPA. The rest were just completely healthy lifestyles. So this is some serious stuff. I have no idea what's going to happen with this in the future. But I'm 100% sure if we don't do something about this, then there will be a bunch of infertile men in the future. And it's going to be hard to get children, to make children. So this is some crazy stuff. Now, there are the links in the descriptions to the things that I mentioned in this video. My video on how to get the basics right, sleep, exercise, diet, getting enough sunlight, all of that good stuff. About the Andrew Huberman podcast, where he talks about phones in your pocket, how that's messing up your testosterone. About this fish experiment, I'll also leave a link to that. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. And we'll arrange a video call. I'm doing free one-on-one coaching calls. You can ask me anything that you want and I'll answer happily. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I helped you with this video. And thank you for your presence. Thank you for your attention. Have a great day. All the love towards you and goodbye.